The FIFA Club World Cup kicks off tonight. Messi at Inter Miami headline tonight's matchup versus Egyptian side Al Ahly. And then we got Bayern Munich and PSG playing on Sunday. So let's get you guys caught up with all things FCWC with Ben Jacobs, senior football correspondent for GiveMeSport and Premier League commentator for talkSport Live. Welcome to the States, man. How you feeling, bro, going into this FIFA World Cup? FIFA Club
Thanks
World
for
Cup.
having me. Club World Cup, it's going to be fantastic. We've never seen it before. Some of these fixtures you kind of only pick in your bedroom or on your sofa playing FIFA.
Yep.
And that's going to be intriguing, like Real Madrid, Al Hilal. But by the same token, we've got the European heavyweights as well. We've got Messi Mania. So really looking forward to seeing how it starts. And of course, it will finish in New Jersey, New York as well. So it's fascinating for us foreign journalists to be able to cover this tournament for the first time. And in many ways, it's a dress rehearsal for the World Cup as well. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of a taste of what this tournament can bring, but we'll also get a bit of a sneak preview to the football or soccer mania that we'll see in 12 months' time as well.
Yeah, it's funny you talked about some of those matchups. I feel like I was hitting the R trigger on my Xbox, doing two random teams playing against each other. You're going to be traveling with a lot of these matches, with a lot of these clubs reporting. I just want to get your thoughts on the FIFA Club World Cup as a whole. There's a lot of noise going on in America right now, and FIFA has had to adjust. We get a chance to see some of the top clubs in the world play in this tournament, but do you feel like the noise is going to take away from the spotlight, take the spotlight away for some great football? I guess what's your expectations and thoughts going into the FIFA Club World Cup as media?
Well, I think as media, we're looking at it in two ways. One is, how is this going to function as a brand new football event? And that's where you have to look at the prize money on offer to the clubs, which is basically, if you go all the way, Champions League money, but in only 4 weeks, which should make for a competitive tournament. And then there's factors like workload. It's been a long old season. Chelsea, for example, won the UEFA Europa Conference League in late May. They had a week off. They're suddenly in America. So our team's going to rotate. Will that impact the football? I'm here in Miami, stifling heat at the moment. I think the Real Madrid Al Hilal game is in the afternoon. So what kind of quality of football are we going to see after a long an arduous season, particularly for the European teams? The PSG going to arrive having won the Champions League with any kind of hangover? But my expectation is that once everything calms and the football side of things start, we will get a highly competitive tournament because of the money on show, the prestige. You get a gold winner's badge that you can keep on your shirt for 4 years. It's a fantastic and unique trophy that needs a key to open it. So all of that adds to the drama, and it feels like football or soccer on the intersect of entertainment. And that is Gianni Infantino's dream, to have football transcend just sport and make this a real spectacle that sits on the cusp of entertainment. And you see that obviously with NFL and things like halftime shows. This is football meets music. It's to an extent football meets politics. Donald Trump has been endorsing it. And then the secondary point, which is very valid that you make, the noise and the politics and the landscape around this tournament. And it's going to be vital, I think, as media, that we respect that and we cover that and we ensure that this Club World Cup is safe, is well executed, because this is essentially also a dress rehearsal for the 2026 World Cup. So the footballers will only be focused on the football, but as you allude to, we mustn't forget that bigger picture.
And I hope it's something that America shows that we have the infrastructure to handle a big tournament like this, because I mean, this is nothing compared to what the madness and the chaos is going to be like when the actual World Cup comes next year, in a year from now. So I'm hoping on the American side, we can show the European leagues or the South American leagues that we have the infrastructure to handle big-time football or big-time soccer. One team that's playing my squad, Chelsea, has a huge fan base here in the United States. You reported on X or Twitter that Kendry Páez is traveling to America to be with Chelsea during the Club World Cup. Do you think that there's a chance that both sides can get a deal done and he gets out there on the pitch? And do you think that Chelsea can win this tournament like they did in 2021, especially with them coming off of winning the Europa League final?
I think with Kendry Páez, he's already signed for Chelsea, but the
Okay.
expectation is that he goes on loan next season, potentially to Chelsea's sister club, Strasbourg. So Páez was signed but couldn't join Chelsea until he was 18. Now he can be part of the squad, but Chelsea have got a policy which shows you they mean business for this tournament, where their loanees or some of their younger players from last season are predominantly, with the exception of André Santos, not part of this squad. It's very much the first team squad from last season. And Chelsea haven't even used the full 35 quota allowed. And that to me suggests that Enzo Maresca wants to try and arrive here with momentum and go all the way. And for Chelsea, if they can, having qualified for the Champions League, add, as I said before, this Champions League type money by winning the Club World Cup, 125 million US dollars if you're the champion, that will allow them to move very aggressively, even more so than they're doing now in the market. The logic of Páez is he's not in the Club World Cup squad, and the registration date for the first phase of the tournament has passed. In theory, they could register him for the knockout stage, but I still think this is more about acclimatization. So Kendry Páez went to Cobham, Chelsea's training ground, spent some time there. Then he went to Strasbourg, also trained with the first team. And now he's finally ready to formalise the move because he's over the age of 18 and he'll simply travel and have the squad experience. But my expectation is we won't actually see him play in any games in the Club World Cup. Then can Chelsea win it? Of course, they are one of the favourites. You would probably say Manchester City have had a disappointing season. They'll look to make amends. Chelsea have got momentum because they qualified for the Champions League and they won the Europa Conference League. And therefore, if they can continue that with players like Cole Palmer, an informed Nicholas Jackson, new signing Liam Delap, Reece James, one of the best fullbacks in the world, André Santos, who was Strasbourg's player outfield anyway of the season, along with the Chelsea goalkeeper Jordi Petrovic, who actually won that accolade, Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. Yeah. Chelsea mean business, and they should get out of this group as winners against Flamengo, who have ex-Chelsea player Jorginho, Esperance de Tunis, and Los Angeles FC, who, of course, have the former Chelsea striker Olivier Giroud. My only concern for your beloved Chelsea is the fact that if this tournament goes according to on paper, and it's very risky to start predicting the bracket, but should it emerge that Chelsea win the group, it is likely, come the knockout stage in the quarterfinals, they'll end up against either PSG or Atletico Madrid. So maybe Man City have got a slightly, on paper, easier route to the final, but we'll have to wait and see. A ball hasn't been kicked yet, so we shouldn't say Chelsea will run into PSG or Atletico Madrid in that game, but if they win the group, they will face a very difficult quarterfinal.
Yeah, I can imagine American owner Todd Bowley has all eyes on this tournament. You know, I hope to see him at some games. But again, when we talk about the impact that Chelsea has here in America, huge fan base, and I know a lot of people are going to be upset. Like, there are other teams to talk about. No, this was this question was selfishly for me right there. You know, all right. But I'd like to get your thoughts on the MLS teams that are competing in this tournament. We've got 3 of them. Do you think that one of these MLS teams can at least make it out of their group? And if so, who has the better chance? Inter Miami, Seattle, or LAFC?
Well, let's just quickly do Seattle. Short answer, no. And by the way, I think Seattle is a phenomenal club, brilliant squad. And in any other group, I would say Seattle are going to be the dark horse. But they're in the group of death, Group B. Paris Saint-Germain, Atletico Madrid, Botafogo. Really, really tough to see them progressing, unfortunately. I think Los Angeles FC are kind of wild card because they came into the tournament so late, winning that playoff worth over $9 million US. They've got a showpiece opening game against Chelsea. Maybe they'll be hoping that Chelsea are still in a bit of off-season mode and can take advantage. They've got plenty of experience, Los Angeles, in the form of Olivier Giroud and Hugo Lloris, both seasoned Premier League players. So I think they could finish second in the group. It will all come down to whether or not they can maybe beat Flamengo. Esperance de Tunis, a very winnable game for them as well. So I'm not discounting LAFC going through. They've certainly got more chance, in my opinion, than Seattle Sounders. And then even though it's maybe a bit of an obvious answer, of the 3, the most likely to progress are Inter Miami. Because remember, Los Angeles FC do not have home advantage, they're forced to take the locations originally allocated for Club Lyon. So they're not playing in LA. Inter Miami have got home advantage. I'm here in Miami at the moment. The heat is stifling, even when you're playing at about 6 or 7 at night. They will be well seasoned to that. They will have home comforts. They've had plenty of time to prepare for this tournament. They got Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez and other top names to look out for. Kremessi is going to potentially announce himself on the world stage. And what a story that would be for a Miami kid at his boyhood club. And I just sense that Inter Miami can beat Al Ahly in this opening game and give themselves a platform to finish in the top 2 and get to the business end of the tournament. I would also add that a lot will be made about Messi mania. And I think as international journalists, we were a little bit surprised because when they entered the tournament as the Supporters' Shield winners, it was just a default that they would only play in Miami. And I think if you really want Messi mania and you're going to pick a host rather than a qualifier, if you like, spread the Messi love around a bit. Send him to New York for the opening game. That would, for me, generate more buzz solely because these Inter Miami fans see Lionel Messi every single week, whereas places like New York and other big stadiums, they've seen him a few times in away games, but not as much. So that's an interesting side point. And then, of course, we're going to see Messi against Palmeiras, and that has Esteval Willian, who's joining your side, Chelsea. That's a really interesting matchup, and I think Esteval is going to make big headlines at this tournament. So coming back to the question, I suspect Porto win Group A, and then I think Inter Miami will beat Al Ahly this evening in the opening game, and it will all come down to that matchup between Messi and Esteval Willian to see who finishes second in the group. And my prediction is LAFC might just fall short, Seattle Sounders won't go through, but Inter Miami can reach the knockout stage.
I love what you said about spreading the love with Messi Mania. Had they opened the tournament with Messi here in New York, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium, I can guarantee you FIFA would not have had to cut ticket prices in half. They would have made all their money plus some if we would get some Messi Mania up here in New York. But you mentioned how you'll be at Hard Rock Stadium for tonight's match. So give us your keys to the match for Inter Miami versus Al Ahly tonight. Do you think it has to come down to Messi magic?
Well, we're going to see Messi step up and naturally lead. I think Kremessi, like I said before, is a very interesting prospect who is drawing some attention from European clubs. So he's going to be important as well. Home advantage is a factor, even though they're not at Chase Stadium. Like you say, the game is taking place at Hard Rock too. And Luis Suarez is obviously going to be a really impactful player too. And I think that star power might just make all of the difference. I say home advantage. One first key to the game away from the football is just to look at that split between Inter Miami fans and Al Ahly supporters, because wandering around Miami, there's thousands of Al Ahly fans. They've really come over to Miami in numbers, and that's the irony of Messi mania. When Messi's in Miami, they see him every week. But for Al Ahly to watch Messi as a fan, incredible. So you're sort of seeing this drive into Miami from Al Ahly supporters for Messi, maybe even more so in terms of the clamour they're making than the actual Inter Miami fans at the moment and outside the stadium. And that's all I can tell you for now. When we get in the stadium, let's sort of see. We have to be respectful. Maybe the Inter Miami fans will all turn up in force. But I suspect there will be a significant number of Al Ahly fans in Hard Rock Stadium this evening. And even though we're calling it home advantage for Inter Miami, keep an eye on whether these fantastic Al Ahly fans from Egypt can actually change the complexion of the game and the atmosphere. Then you have Trezeguet for Al Ahly, their vice captain, a very important forward and one to look out for. And Mohamed El Shanawi, the veteran Egyptian goalkeeper, is also going to have a lot to do in trying to keep Lionel Messi from scoring those goals. So a good performance by the Egyptian goalkeeper and also their vice captain up front. If they get going, Al Ahly will feel that they can beat Inter Miami. But obviously, if Messi shines and provides his magic, then you would think there will only be one winner this evening.
All right, Ben Jacobs, man, thanks for getting us ready for what's going to be an absolutely epic tournament. I appreciate you coming on, and we got to get you in studio when you come up to New York.
I look forward to it. Keep up the good work, and thanks for having me, and enjoy the Club World Cup, everybody.